I'm here with Cheryl Sleboda, and she is taking us into the world of cosplay. Welcome, Cheryl.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
So for people who don't know what cosplay, can you just get us started? I assume it has to do with costumes, right?
We're looking here. Yeah, cosplay is costume play. So when you think of people who dress up for Comic-Con and dress up as their favorite characters, that's what we're talking about.
So what's more playful than a jester collar? So why don't we get started?
That's awesome. Yeah. So the stuff that we're using is a tricot-lined foam that's typically used in home decor or bag making, but in our cosplay, the really cool thing about this one is that it's black and it has a black sponge interior.
Which matters because?
Well, if I were going to cover this with fabric and then I didn't do any edge treatment, the black lining means that you're not going to see any like white core.
Oh wait, so this product allows you to be lazy.
Yes, it
That's
does.
my favorite thing in the whole world.
And sometimes you want to do an edge treatment, sometimes you don't. So that's what's really nice about this. So what I did was I based my collar design on a lampshade. And
Ooh,
I know.
That's clever.
And so I cut out my pieces out of paper once I had some templates, and I transfer that to the foam using a silver marker so that I can see the lines. And then,
so transfer is a fancy word for you traced it.
Yes, I traced
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Okay. I was making sure that I'm up on the cosplay lingo.
Right, exactly. And then, I just take my regular shears and cut them out, and then when I have my foam piece cut out, now the other cool thing about this foam is it has a fusible coating on one side. So that means I can fuse fabric to it.
So you don't even need an extra fusible of any kind. You just go ahead and iron it.
It's built into the foam. So
cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Wait, I just have a question about heating foam because I assume we're going to iron it. It's totally safe. It's not a problem.
Yes, absolutely. That's what it's designed to do. So, and it's low temperature, so you don't really need like a super hot iron or anything.
So it's not like the cotton setting. It's somewhere down at like silk or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. The synthetic settings are pretty good for this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to iron this to the wrong side of my fabric. And
so if your fabric had a pattern, you would make sure that it's the wrong side.
The wrong side of the fabric. I have a fabric here that doesn't have a right or a wrong side, but I'm going to place it on the wrong side, and then after I'm flipping it here so that my fabric is right side up, and once I have it placed, if I had a pattern here, this is a good time to like center a design or something like that.
So you can actually fussily place it so that it gets exactly what you wanted with a novelty fabric of some kind.
And I think that that's really kind of fun when you're using different prints and things like that. So
why didn't you do this ironing before you cut it?
Well, if I did iron all my fabric to all the foam piece, and then I drew my shape on top of it, you're going to end up with all this waste that has got pre-fused with fabric on it. And I like to save the pieces and use them in other projects.
Oh, good. You're a hoarder, just like me.
Well, who isn't, right? So now I'm going to just take my iron and fuse the fabric to the...
and this is no steam.
No
This
steam.
is the same way that you would do any kind of fusing.
Exactly. And you're just going to fuse it right on there, and you just give it a couple of seconds.
Oh, it's that quick.
It's real fast. So it's stuck on there. And then I'm just going to take my scissors and cut it out, and we're good to go.
Cool.
Once I have it ironed and I have my pieces, right, for my whole project, now we get to sew it. And it's really easy. It's a straight stitch.
Okay, so this doesn't look like a straight stitch to me because of the bow.
Right, and so when you actually put your right sides together, you will get a spot here, and we're just gonna sew from here to here, and we're gonna go do that on the machine.
Let's head to the sewing machine.
Right.
I can't believe all that foam fit under your presser foot.
I know. It's like it squishes down really tightly, so it's not going to be any problem under your presser foot. Now, I have switched out to a 1/4-inch piecing foot, which is typically used in the quilting stuff, but that's how I know if I have my foam right up to the edge of the foot. That's how I know that I'm going to get this 1/4-inch seam. And we don't want a lot of bulk inside our collar, so that's what we're going to do. And the other thing is I've got my right sides together, and I just double check to make sure I'm sewing on the right curve.
Okay.
So we're just going to
go ahead and stitch it. Now, you're not pinning, you're just holding everything. You're not worried about it.
If you wanted to, you could pin, but it's such a small project, you can fit it under there. Plus the pins, you'd have to stop and take them out, put them back in, you know,
It just always feels quicker and easier this way to me too.
Yeah, if the seam were much longer, then I would probably have to do that, but I don't have to here, so.
Just cut that thread.
Just cut that thread off, and of course, there we go. Now when you open it up, then you're gonna start to see that curve start to happen. That's how you get the super dimension.
Oh my gosh, you're right, because here if I push here, I can see how this is popping up and creating that jester color.
Yes.
I know you have one that's all stitched together.
I do, and I have all of the sections done, and so, you know, laid out, you have,
Great.
There you go.
Well, let's go finish this off.
Right? So if you want to leave it unfinished, you can, because again, it has that black core, but otherwise we can use bias tape, we can use pom-poms, we can decorate it out any way we want.
I was gonna say, I can see the beautiful one here, and then I noticed that in the back, you could obviously, you've done some ties here.
Yeah, so just regular grommets, and you can create like a lace-up type thing. You could also use hooks and eyes or whatever you want, really.
And here's one that you fussy cut, like we talked about,
Yes.
so that these patterns are all really visible.
And it's super great in brocade, and all those were just cut out of the brocade fabric and trimmed out with gold trim.
That's so cool, and it's way more than just a jester color, because I love this majestic purple costume that you have here.
It's a great way to add any kind of height and dimension that's still soft and flexible, and you know, I love it.
This was so fun. Thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you.
Brother International Corporation is the maker of the Scan and Cut home and hobby cutting machine with a built-in scanner and is known for supplying innovative sewing and embroidery machines. ScanandCut.com